water, fire, oxygen, sunlight, and food are how we survived as a species. It's what kept the human race going. But there's one factor that often goes unnoticed and is definitely underappreciated, and that's temperature control, my friends. See, without temperature control, there's no air conditioning. We would heat up, and if there's no heaters, we'd freeze to death. Temperature control, whether you're aware of it or not, is around us daily. It's in our cars, it's in our HVAC systems, our refrigerators, and even our jacuzzis. It's what allows us to have fish tanks. It's what allows us to drink coffee that isn't boiling. It's what allows us to have reptiles as pets. It even allows us to enjoy delicious beer canned chicken. But most importantly, it's what allows us to enjoy ice cold, refreshing beer. And today I received a product that every brewer needs, both commercially and brewing at home. Alright, so what's in the box? It's the INKBIRD 308 model. See, INKBIRD's got a ton of products on the market that focus on temperature control, and I also have their sous vide grade cooker for when you want to cook that perfect steak. And for the green thumbers out there, they've got humidity control. But their one product I need to get my hands on is one of their Wi-Fi temperature control thermometers for cooking food. You can set it up to your smartphone so you can monitor your meats while you're chilling out watching TV. But I'll put that one on the Christmas list. But for fermenting and storing beer at proper drinking temperature, we're going to need one of these. Comes with instructions. The product has a clean user interface, nothing too confusing or too janky like the temperature control I had years ago, not even an LED screen. And I used to think that this thing was awesome because before this I was just putting fermenters into bigger buckets and then just filling them with ice, and I'm pretty sure that did nothing. I was a mess at this time. All my batches were coming out mediocre and it was bumming me out.
It's gross. It is so gross.
But imagine back in the day where you could only ferment tasteable alcohols if you lived in a good place in the world and had to be dependent on Mother Nature. And if you didn't, you had to spend an insane amount of time digging caves. I used to work construction and would build people fences for a living, and digging holes just the size of Home Depot buckets was a pain. But imagine digging entire rooms out where you could ferment and store an ocean of wine and have weddings. That would take me an entire lifetime just to have one of these rooms. But look at these places. And there was no power tools or engines for this stuff 150 plus years ago. It was all manual labor. So be grateful that you're alive in 2023 or whatever year you're watching this video. But
how does it work?
How does it work? Plug it straight in. Don't use an extension cord. Now hold the set button down until you get into the menu, and then keep clicking through it to get all the menu options. But TS is what you're going to be on the most, and TS stands for temperature set. Bring it to your desired temp and hold it down again for a couple seconds until it saves. Top temperature is your current temperature, and bottom temperature is your desired temperature. HD stands for heat differential, and CD stands for cooling differential. I'd keep both of these at 3. Bring it to 1 and you're going to have your alarm going off all the time. And you got AH and AL, alarm high and alarm low. AH is set to 200 by default, and AL is set to negative 40 degrees by default. You can change it, but I never have. There's no reason any of my chest freezers would go over 200 or under negative 40. The alarm is good and loud like a smoke detector, and take my word for it. You don't want me to play the sound of it right now. PT is compression delay. I don't mess with this either. I don't mind if it kicks on instantly or not for 5 or 10 minutes. CA is calibration, and CF is whether you want to display your LED screen in Celsius or Fahrenheit. And that's literally it. It's that simple, and it's one of the few products in home brewing and commercial brewing that you absolutely have to have if you want to keep your yeast happy. Now plug your fridge or chest freezer into the cooling side and then just shut the door on the probe. It's a temperature control for your appliance's temperature control. Now my beer and my wort will not freeze. And it works the opposite for heating. If you have a heat lamp or a heat mat for your reptiles, spiders, or scorpions, just plug it into the heat side and set your desired temp so that it doesn't get too hot. You would think this product is expensive, but it's not. It's usually $35, but if you snag one today on Amazon, it's only $28. That's the cheapest I've ever seen it. And if you want want to brew great beer at home and have beer on draft, you have to have an INKBIRD, especially if you're using a chest freezer, which I recommend. It's on Amazon. The reviews are as good as it gets. All of the links are in the description of the video. You know what to do. Cheers.